if you're not doing all these tricks, it's going to take 10 minutes as opposed to it taking 2 minutes.
Oh, Lauren, give me a little more credit than that. God.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. Raina, I have something to discuss with you. I feel like it's December 5th and you have barely talked about soup at all this whole season. And
thank you so much for bringing this up. And also, I didn't really get to talk about Thanksgiving that much last week. How much are you going to make fun of me if I spend another week talking about Thanksgiving?
You tried last week. We edited it out.
So you get the whole month of July to talk about cancer season. I should get more than 1 week to talk about Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, why don't you tell the audience why you've dialed back your soup talk this year?
I feel like I don't even care that much about soup anymore. I feel like it's become my whole identity and personality. Soup. Like, it's embarrassing. The amount of memes that get sent to me about soup, it's not about like masturbating or like being a bad bitch or like anything. It's just like about like success or looking good or like fashion people, like soup. So I have been tagged in this t-shirt, this soup powered fuck machine t-shirt meme. I feel like I'm being trolled on the internet. I'm about to get off the internet. I hate it so much. Stop sending it to me. Stop tagging me in this fucking t-shirt. I hate it so much.
So this is exactly why I brought this up. I wanted to walk you right into this.
Thank you.
I knew that you've been dialing it back because you've been so overloaded with memes, and specifically that meme. So people send it to me to show you. You will not acknowledge it. If you would just post it and say thank you for thinking of me, then maybe people would stop.
Here's the thing. Go into my requests, my DM requests.
Yeah.
Every day there's about 30, and all of them just say send post, send post, send post, send post, because it's just hundreds of you sending it to me.
I don't want to come across like ungrateful that people think of me, but every year, anything with Home Alone, that's how it is. I'll have hundreds of DMs, and I'm like, I've seen it. Here's the thing, though. Soup-powered fuck machine is so funny. It is
the first time I heard it was funny, actually.
But you need to acknowledge it to everyone right now. It is you as a person. That's what I would describe you as.
I don't even eat that much soup anymore, okay? I don't even remember the last time I had soup. Actually, my cousin Casey made soup for Thanksgiving, and I said no thank you. I didn't even eat it at the Thanksgiving table. I feel like I don't care about it that much anymore.
You're retired
I am
from
acknowledging
the game.
it. I do want to say I agree with you. I love that you guys think of me, and I love that you see something funny and you're like, Raina would love that. So thank you. Keep doing that for everything else besides soup.
Okay. Well, it sounds a little bit like you're retiring from the game, but
I am.
I'm
out the game.
When I think about soup-powered fuck machine, I like laugh out loud.
That's what I wear for the holiday show. I just walk out with that and heels.
All right. So welcome to the show from a soup-powered fuck machine, or no longer soup-powered fuck machine.
I'm retired. I'm just your average soup liker these days. I'm out the game.
You out the game.
Thank you. I said it a few minutes ago. You didn't catch it.
It's a Chris Stefano reference from his special, 38 Ways. That's like a quote. You out the game. Okay.
All right. Let's thank some of our partners. Thanks to Athletic Greens for supporting GGE. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/GGE. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/GGE to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And thanks to HelloFresh for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Go to hellofresh.com/GGE18 and use the code GGE18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. They keep upping it.
I know. I'm taking my shoes off as I do this. Okay. Thanks to Buffy for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Buffy makes award-winning bedding that's soft on you and soft on the earth. For $20 off your Buffy order, visit buffy.co and enter promo code GGE. And thanks to Native for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Wait to hear more about Native sunscreen. Native makes safe, simple, effective products that people use every day with trusted ingredients. Get 20% off your first purchase by visiting nativedeo.com/GGEDEO or using promo code GGEDEO at checkout. Just slip into something more comfortable.
I feel like so last week I like was watching the YouTube of myself just like sitting back in a sweatshirt and I looked so comfy. So I want to do that more.
Well, okay, so that being said, we do have our interview today that we did film in a different studio and I wore jeans. I like the outfit, but like looking back, I'm like, no more podcasting in jeans. I don't know why I did that.
You've done it up here a couple times.
I know that. Yeah. That was weird too.
I mean,
I love jeans.
On the
Jean-powered fuck machine.
I've come around to jeans a lot. I think you knew me for years before you saw me in a jean, and now I wear jeans all the time.
Well, you transitioned into jeans with that one overalls that you wore every day for 3 months.
I forgot. I'm glad you
Raina,
brought
you
this
wore it
up.
every day. Like you flew in it. You flew in shorts.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Bitch, you had your thighs touching the seat. You weren't even in first class then. You were sitting in the window eating your soup, shorts on a plane, window shade
Overalls,
up.
jean overalls, shorts. I had short-alls. I was on an amazing plane yesterday morning. Everybody in the plane, 9:30 in the morning plane, all the windows up. I was shook by it. I couldn't believe it. And I'm glad that you brought up this thing about me doing the same thing every day all the time. Because we talked about me doing the same like workout all the time. And at Thanksgiving dinner, I get to tie Thanksgiving into this. This is amazing.
Anna, cut this.
Anna, this stays. I pay
Take
you
a
too.
drink every time Raina says Thanksgiving.
My mom was telling the whole table that like as a kid, I would pick one movie and I would just watch it like over and over and over and over. And I would read the same books over and over and over again. Like this, I didn't realize this is like actually a personality trait of mine. I do like pick one thing and do it a lot.
That's interesting. I did do the movie thing too. What were your movies?
Oh my God, thank you for asking. Don't tell mom the babysitter's
Same.
dead.
Oh my God. Also, we had to rent it every time.
We went to Blockbuster was wilding out on Friday nights, and we had like a snack tray. My mom would bring snacks downstairs. Sometimes we went to Hollywood Video, and they had this room in the back where my dad would go. It was the
Well, we were more support local. We went to Video Scene. It was like a small franchise. There was one in Smyrna, one in Dover. Maybe there was one somewhere else. Like our family was kind of like anti-establishment. We didn't do Blockbuster. But when I think about it, yes, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Aladdin. There was like a busted up old Aladdin before the Disney Aladdin.
We owned Aladdin. Not to brag. Do you remember that Disney VHS tapes would come in this like
puffy.
big, yes, like
padded. Like, what were we gonna do to them? And when I got older, Scream just every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I was a creature of habit, I guess. I guess it's like a thing. I wear overalls just until I can't wear them no more.
You are kind of more like that. But you're also
food.
adaptable. You're not just like, a set in your ways type of person. Guys, a couple things. We would love if you would leave a rating for the podcast if you listen on iTunes or even Spotify, but let's just push the iTunes today. So if you're enjoying this, leave a rating, I don't know, if you want to write a review, leave your favorite Girls Gotta Eat quote, just write Soup Powered Fuck Machine. Just bomb our reviews with Soup Powered Fuck Machine. I would love to see it. I won't look at it, but we'll have Bella look at it and screenshot it.
Right? What kind of soup you guys like? Leave a recipe. If you guys leave a recipe, I'll get back into soup again.
Okay, this is it. You've got to power up this fuck machine. So leave recipes on our iTunes. And we have the holiday show in New York coming up December 15th. So we just wanted to say if you have anything like crazy stories to share, email us at stories@girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. But you can also still go to girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. But email us with anything crazy. And then, of course, we love if you tell us the tea on who you're coming with. If you want to roast your friends, that you're coming with your ex, your parents, like whatever you feel like is interesting about your situation and people you're coming with, or you have a story to share. Or, and I'm going to say this too, any like traumatizing or even funny breakup stories, I'm going to ask for them and coming in 2023. So we'll start with the holiday show. So give us your heartbreak stories. Will make you feel better at the show. And of course, as always, like, people you're coming with, we love to do the roasts and email stories at girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. And then if you want to get ahead of it, any show you're coming to in 2023, still do this. Just give us the city and your subject line.
Yeah. And we have tons of shows coming up. We are so excited to get back out on the road. I think we have 19 shows, February through June, and a lot of them still have tickets left, limited tickets, but We do have them. So yeah, of course, go to girlsgottaeat.com. All of those are listed. The theaters are so fun. The cities are so fun. Lots of places we've never come to before. And we created this really cute thing on our website. It's a little greeting card for me and Ashley and Azul. So if you want to give this to somebody, tickets for the holidays, if you want like a really great gift for people, buy the tickets. And then we made a little gift card that you guys can purchase. I think I set it at like $4 or something. So you guys can buy that at girlsgottaeatpodcast.shop. And it'll just be like a really nice way to give somebody the tickets.
Yes. And you said Azul, and that reminded me. So before we hit record, he was up on the top of the couch, like perched up on the top of the cushions like a cat. Like it was crazy. So we'll show you. We did record a little bit. So Anna, just splice this in so we can show everybody. I just have to have people see it.
He's not even hanging out.
He'll come back up here. He's on the floor right now, but he was up here.
Well, we know you guys missed. He was like stunting because he missed the last 2 weeks.
He was stunting like my daddy. Okay, and then of course, vibes only. We introduced the Lucy last week. It is flying off the shelves, probably because of my dad's video. Can I tell you something funny about this?
Yes.
Okay, so I put this on my Instagram. I mean, I got to tell you, I didn't even know if I was going to put it on the feed. It was a last minute decision. I didn't know that it was that funny. We recorded this in one take. My brother shot it. It's basically me at home on Thanksgiving Day showing my dad the Lucy bullet, our newest product, which is named after what I would name my daughter and also my mom. Her name is Lucinda.
He's wearing shorts, flip-flops, just swigging a glass of wine around.
Okay, so here's the part that I've
been
been wanting to tell you. So I had this idea. I was like, I want to do a product reveal with my dad. I think it'll be really funny. And like, he was just busy all day. He was cooking the turkey. Everybody's running around. I knew I wanted Matt to film it. And I'm just like starting to be a nag. I was like, if you don't get over here, like I was like, we have to do this before people start coming over. I finally, like that was like 10 minutes before people started showing up for Thanksgiving dinner. As I sit down, I put these two stools next to each other. And I was like, get your wine. You know, you're like, you know, people are going to expect to see you with a glass of red, whatever. My dad's like notorious for his like swirling. He goes and he puts his wine from his red wine glass into like a plastic cup, like a travel
like
plastic.
a red, like a...
No, like a wine glass, but like a plastic, you know, one that you hold in your hand. And he comes over, he goes, got my plastic wine glass. I go, you're not going on a boat.
Well, he was dressed like he was. Your dad is wearing thong flip-flops in this video, end of November, and a t-shirt and shorts.
When I was like, that is so true. But like when that line popped into my head, like I was like, in what world do you transfer from glassware to plasticware? What do you think we're about to do?
Where did he think he was going? I'm pretty sure I've seen him ride the lawnmower around the acres of farm with a glass. What do you think was going to happen?
He was dressed like he was.
I love him so much. And I feel like one of the number one questions in every interview we've ever done is like, what do your parents think about what you guys do for a living? We really are so lucky.
I know.
Like,
and I do,
gem.
like, I have to tell you, like, you know, this is my dad. I've been with him since birth.
been with him.
You know, like I know he's funny, but like, even doing the video, I was like rolling my eyes at his like one-liners. I was like, oh my God. Like,
why is it so
is
big?
this even funny?
No,
and
it's
like,
so funny.
then when I post it, it like reminds me of how funny and great he actually is. You know, people are like quoting the video. I mean, it's probably the most comments like I've ever gotten. People really liked it. So if you guys want to go watch it, and then the Lucy sales skyrocketed.
They did. So we can track the time of day that's
and where they come from.
It was like a very steady, like we put stuff on Vibes during the day and we did Instagram stories. I did Instagram stories, but the arc of the day at 8 p.m., it just exploded out of the gate.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So thank you guys for buying it. We'll do more fun stuff like that.
Yes. And of course, we have the cum towel, we have the sweatshirt, the mug. I'm obsessed with it.
New blow gel flavor, passion fruit.
Yes.
And that will come in the Get Wet set. So you guys can get a set and it's discounted when you combine it all. So it's the massage oil, the lube, and the blow gel. And we have vanilla frosting and passion fruit. It comes with the cutest little pouch. And then you can also go to our Instagram at Vibes Only and look at a really cute video of it that Ashley worked very hard on. Ashley and Anna.
Anna did. I chose the music. And listen, I'm just going to do a teaser. We are going to have a toy for your butt. And I am insisting you do a product reveal with Bill.
Oh, yeah. He already knows about it. He's amped. He wanted to know like how we figured out how long it had to be. And I told my whole family at Thanksgiving that I was the product tester for it. I told Uncle John, Aunt Sherry. I told everybody.
Well, it's funny. My family is sex positive, but I've said this before. We're not a family that talks about stuff in detail by any stretch, especially not like me and my brother, me and my dad. Me and my mom always, yes. Like I would tell my mom if I gave a blowjob when I was like 20 years old, whatever. But it is funny. Like it's part of our business now. And like I feel so much more comfortable talking about it. And like I was telling Matt and Steph how I had to product test that 3D sample.
We'll just tell you. You want to tell them about it?
We have a product.
We have 2 new toys coming out.
Yes. And one, we got the hard 3D sample. It's not made of silicone yet. It's hard as a rock, hard plastic. I had to put it inside of me. I had to lube it up.
Actually stop a meeting so she could go to it.
Because we had to see the fit. And I was like, oh my, I can't stick this hard plastic dry in my pussy. Like I had to put lube on it while you guys waited on a Zoom. That's our lives.
Our entire office is full of sex toys you've used as well. It's just Ashley's pussy is everywhere. I put 2 of your vibrators in my bag this weekend to go home.
Well, it's funny because when I did the thing with my dad, this little BTS, the bullet reveal, I was like, don't worry, it's fresh. And I picture the narrator saying it was not fresh.
That's what was going through my head. I was at the nail salon last night going, liar.
It was cleaned and my dad didn't touch it, but whatever. A clean toy is a fresh toy.
I think it's fine. It's clean.
It's like jewelry.
I
like
think
like jewelry doesn't age. You have a diamond that someone else has worn. It doesn't mean it's any less new. Forget it.
So just think of our vibrators as diamonds, and you can clean them very easily. So tons of cool stuff for yourself. Thank you guys. You really went crazy for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and just bought so much. And so thank you for supporting us. We work really hard on this stuff and we're really excited to release a couple new things for you. I did try a butt plug on myself in a hotel this summer. So I do this for you guys.
Well, and that's another BTS. We were in Montreal and Bella had to bring it. So we left a day before her. So one thing she had to do was get this sample delivered to her and present it to you in Montreal when you were in the lobby being loud because that guy was there.
Oh, I was trying to get his attention. He was hot.
Okay, and just to wrap up the vibe stuff, sign up for the newsletter because we are doing fun stuff. We have a giveaway coming up, and you'll get the first look at all this stuff in the newsletter. So just go to vibesonly.com, sign up for the newsletter, shop around, download the app.
Yeah, and all of the Vibe stuff and the Girls Gotta Eat podcast merch. Most of the deadlines for holiday ordering are December 12th. And of course, things can happen once they leave with the mail systems at this time of year. But that's the general date for domestic shipping. And then we have all the shipping dates listed on our websites, so you guys can check them out there. But thank you for supporting us on all this stuff. And we hope you just really love it so much.
Okay, I have a quick DM to read you.
Okay.
So this DM came after the episode from 2 weeks ago with Vanessa Marin. Mm-hmm. We talked about choking and spanking and hand jobs and different things like that. So got this DM. He says, single straight dude listener here. In regards to penis grip pressure, there is no grip limit. If you're doing a jerk off motion, there is, and it might hurt, but if you keep your hand in one place and squeeze a penis, you literally cannot squeeze too hard. I have big old construction hands, and I cannot statistically squeeze my penis enough to cause pain. Penises are bonkers squeezable.
He said construction hands. I was really turned on. Then he said bonkers, and I lost my boner.
Just thought I'd weigh in. You both are very engaging. Thanks for the content. And I wrote back, thank you for the message, hand heart.
Could your dick fit inside of these?
So I just wanted you guys to know. Single straight dude construction worker. Squeeze a penis as hard as you can. They are bonkers squeezable.
I'm turned on. He listens to our show. I'm turned on.
Yeah,
he
you
has
should check
construction
him
worker
out.
hands.
He doesn't have a it looks like his I don't know what his avatar is. It's not a picture of him, but I'll hook you guys up.
Fun.
I'll set you guys up.
I don't think I've ever, I don't know if you have. Have you ever run into a situation where somebody said that you're squeezing their dick too hard? I think people have told me
probably just with my tight pussy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh my God, it hurts so bad.
I can't even fit it in there. I'm trying to get 2 fingers in and I can't.
When I put that new toy inside of me, I was like, am I so tight?
Well, I will say, I'm sure your pussy is very tight, but I I don't use penetrative toys a ton until I'm like incredibly turned on. So it's usually after I've been masturbating on my couch, as you know, for quite some time that I insert a toy into myself. So I like to warm it up a little bit, and then I'm bigger.
Yeah, of course. You dilate.
Not you though. You just stay tight.
That's why I'm not having children. I like literally couldn't. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just breeze right into it. I'm going to talk to you guys about Buffy. So Buffy makes award-winning bedding that's soft on you and soft on the earth. You know we love them so much. We can't recommend them enough for gifts. If you want to upgrade someone's bedding situation, if you're sleeping over or treat yourself, get them for yourself. Really, you can't go wrong with having everything that they own. We do. We have I have 2 comforters from them. I have so many sheet sets. I've lost count. And the Breeze sheet set is soft and cool. It's gentle on your skin, and the comforter is the comforter that keeps you cool. So it's filled with eucalyptus fibers instead of polyester or down, which those are what retains heat and makes you hot. Ideal for hot sleepers, summer climates, or partners who sleep at different temperatures. So if you run hot, this is the most perfect comforter you could ever buy. It's an Architectural Digest 2022 Clever Award winner. And just some things about Buffy's soft eucalyptus sheets. Again, they're hypoallergenic. They are dyed using natural skin-safe botanical dyes and unparalleled cool softness. And they really get softer with every wash. I mean, we've had these for years now. I've had my first Buffy comforter. I have gotten a new one since I brought the old one to my parents' house, but like it still is as fresh as it ever was in 2018. Mm-hmm. Like they don't lose volume. They just like keep their quality, and we are obsessed with everything that Buffy does. I don't have anything on my bed that isn't Buffy at this point. And again, as the holiday season comes up, this is like a perfect gift. Even like everything they have on the site. I got my dad that neck pillow last Christmas, and I got my brother the sheets and all the things. And they offer a free 7-night at-home trial. You can experience Buffy before committing to buying it. I don't know another company that even does that. It's pretty dope. And shipping is free. Customers also enjoy a 100-night free returns policy. So for $20 off your Buffy order, visit buffy.co and enter GGE. That's buffy.co, promo code GGE for $20 off.
And something that I pretty much take most days of the week, I'm excited to talk about this, is athletic greens. And Ashley and I are both really into this. And I discovered it through the podcast, and it's been such a nice thing to work into my daily routine. So I take 1 scoop of athletic greens into about like 8 to 12 ounces of water every day. And I do it right after I work out. It's not a workout or energy drink or anything like that, but it's a multivitamin. It has tons of different uses, and we'll tell you about them. But it has been the easiest habit to stick to. And I stay hydrated. You know, Ashley's on a hydration journey. It helps me to drink water as well. And I keep turning everybody onto it. And Athletic Greens is offering you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase when you go to athleticgreens.com/GGE. It has so many different uses that you might notice when you take it. So better sleep quality and recovery, mental clarity and alertness is really what I feel like. All of a sudden, I feel a little more alert, and it didn't take that long for me to start feeling like that. It's high quality ingredients. Your body can absorb it. It's a really small like micro habit that's just easy to do every day. Again, we all drink water in the morning. Just put 1 scoop in there. I like the taste. I put it with ice cold water. There's no chemicals or artificial anything in it, and it still tastes good. It is really like a one-of-a-kind multivitamin, and it's something good that you can do for your body. Of course, it's getting cold out. People are getting sick. So anything you can do to just feel better day to day and build this into your routine. And I just feel like it's nice to do something good for my body.
I have not been sick in a long time, and I'm attributing it partially to this. I decided to just incorporate some healthier habits with some immune boosting stuff, but this in terms of my morning routine. And like, I haven't gotten sick in a long time. And I did do my tour, and I have been really busy. Like, it's not just because we're not like touring. Like, I'm super still busy, overwhelmed, all the things. And like, my body is not broken down. I will say it goes well in like some flavors of smoothies if you feel like you want to get it that way. Okay. I prefer it that way. Like, I kind of at this point know the ones that it goes really well with, that the flavors complement. And I think you can tell the taste, and you're like, would this go right? So some it doesn't, and then I just drink it in water or whatever. I have seen a change. I hear nothing but good things from people who do Athletic Greens.
Me too. And I do it pretty much every day. So you guys can check it out. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/GGE. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/GGE to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Okay, so can we talk about Michelle Obama's relationship advice.
Yeah, so you sent this to me and I didn't read it that much, and now I'm excited because I want you to break it
Oh my
down
God,
for me, and
okay.
I can react to it.
So here's the thing. We get asked all the time, who is your dream podcast guest? And we will always say the Obamas, Michelle or Barack together would be great, one day. But I love Michelle Obama. It goes without saying. She's just an icon. She's an inspiration. But I found this post, which has just got these 4 pictures of her and Barack. And like the one where he's like all upon her in this photo booth was like turning me on. I like zoomed in on, I sent to Kate. I was like, I'm turned on because Kate and I like just jerk off to him. But she really, in an Instagram caption, encapsulated what I feel like would be having her on the podcast to talk about marriage. Like it really just, it's so concise and honest, and I just love it. So this was on 4 days ago now, so it's fresh. She just posted this pretty recently, like over Thanksgiving probably. So she says, as an adult, I've lived in a number of places, but as far as I'm concerned, I've only ever had one real home. My home is my family, my home is Barack. But here's the thing, our marriage has never been perfectly 50-50. One of us is always needing more or giving more. We have to be willing to listen to each other honestly and without defensiveness. Only then can we evolve together. Over the years, a lot of young people have asked me about marriage, and my response usually goes something like this. You have to prepare yourself for long stretches of discord and discomfort. You have to learn how to make real compromises in the way you've lived as an individual. Glamorizing a relationship while you're dating will lead you straight to difficulty once you're married. You can't paper over problems when you're living with somebody day in and day out. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of this relationship? Have you truly thought it through? Do you want a wedding or do you want a lifelong partnership? Those are 2 very different things. Together, you're answering the question, who are we and who do we want to be? And she says, now I want to hear from you. What advice would you share about marriage or relationships? And then there's great comments. There's 40,000 comments at this point. Nothing confirmed it more that I don't want to get married. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. After that beautiful thing. But like, it's such honest advice. Mm-hmm. That is the tightest, most dense advice I've seen, truly.
Yeah. I think that it doesn't glamorize what it is to have a partner. And it really, everybody's like, it's hard work, but it's worth it. And I don't know. I think people say that a lot, but to distill it into that, and like that sometimes it's really not about you for long stretches of time. And you really have to reframe who you are as a person and what you think your life is going to be like. And that shit is fucking hard. And you look at them and they have like the sexiest marriage and they look so happy. And he's always like hyping his wife so much, that I think is so nice to see. But I love seeing somebody say that like, this isn't easy, and it's not easy for long stretches of time. Yes. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that. Like some people identify a problem. They're like, gotta fix it. Gotta put a Band-Aid on this. Gotta go to therapy. But like acknowledging that it is going to take kind of a long time sometimes, I think is really honest.
I think you're so right. That was something that stuck out to me. Long stretches of discord and discomfort. You have to make real compromises in the way you've lived as an individual. Like, and what I think is so beautiful about their marriage is they've obviously been together for a long time. I don't know when they met. That probably in their 20s. Like,
I don't remember.
I think the way that my life will look, again, I don't know that marriage is something that I necessarily care about. I think that I could find somebody in my 40s and it's a life that's a little bit more running parallel to each other, not together in the way that Michelle and Barack have been. They have a family also, they have children. Like they've been together so long, they built each other up so much. Like that will probably not be my truth. I've accomplished all this on my own, and I wanted to find somebody that's accomplished a lot on their own, and that's a way of living. And there's something to be said for meeting someone when you're young, and even somebody like your brother who's been with his wife for so long, and like you grow up together, like you say, you build your careers together. There is a lot of compromise involved in that. Like some relationships don't have to look like as much compromise or losing any of your individuality or individual goals.
Yeah. I think that they can look different at different phases in your life. I do look at my brother's relationship with his wife, and I was with them all weekend. They're obsessed with each other. They really have fun together. They really like each other. And they're fortunate to have watched the other person grow up. I think they met when they were like 21, 22, and they're, 10, 11, 12 years later, they're still together and really like enjoy each other, and they've grown in the same direction, which is nice. And I remember always looking at that and thinking, I'm really sad that nobody that I'm with that I end up with is ever going to have seen me grow up. I'll never have that. I will never have that in my whole life. And that's sad for me. But anybody that I do find now gets to meet me as a more fully formed person. Yeah. And they know like the product they're taking off the shelf, like what it is and probably what it's going to be for a while. And I know what my issues are, what my patterns are with people. And I think it's nice to meet people when they're a little more fully formed too, because you can make more informed decisions. Like just by the grace of God, not that I believe in God, but as the theory, it worked out for my brother and his wife, and that's great, but that's not a lot of people's experiences. And I think about the person I would have married at 27, and I'm like, that guy's not for me.
Yeah. I mean, and I like when people talk honestly about compromise and sacrifice. And I have a girlfriend that I've been talking to recently, and she's married, they have children, and she's just really excelling at work. And she doesn't want to not do the things she wants to do. She doesn't want to not to buy the things she wants to do. Now she's out earning her husband. You see this all the time. Feel like there was a point in my life as recently where so many of my girlfriends are just blowing past their male partners, whether they're married or they're just, married with kids, married without kids, just been together long term. And they're like, how do I reconcile this and live my truth and not leave them behind, emasculate them, And there's so much to think about. And I really just love, do you want a wedding or do you want a lifelong partnership?
I remember thinking when I was growing up, I never thought when I met new people, what does this look like as a long-term partnership? Nobody ever taught me to think like that. My mom taught me to think if somebody leaves you and you have to support yourself, be able to do that. That's how I was raised. I never thought about, and that's not any fault of my mother's, but I never thought like, what does this person look like as a long-term partner forever? And so I picked people that were like good for now. And I never thought about it long term. And I'm actually really glad you brought this up because we have a couple on the show today and we're going to talk about their relationship, Lauryn and Michael, and they've been together for, I don't know if did they tell us during the episode, like 20 years or something? They met like middle school.
Oh my God, he's doing it. Puzzle. If you guys aren't watching the YouTube,
what's happening?
Bella, I've never even seen you make that face. If you guys aren't watching the YouTube, now is the time.
What is he doing? I've never seen him do this before, you guys. He just like climbed on the back of the couch. Oh my God.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
He just wanted to flex on us. You're right. He hasn't been here for 2 weeks. He's like, I got to give the people what they want.
Show slumped.
Yeah, Azul was like, I noticed the YouTube views were down.
But yeah, we have an episode today with a couple that's been together for a really long time, and they talk a lot about how they keep their relationship going, and sacrifices that they make, and living separate lives, having businesses separately, things like that.
Well, I like that you said that because I would just like to always remind people that every relationship is different, and there are no hard and fast rules, and you can't listen to a couple speak about what works for them and be offended by it because that's not how you think, because everybody's different, And I think it's nice to see different perspectives because there truly is no one way, and people who tell you that are full of shit.
Talking about how I live my life is not a judgment call on how you live your life. So they're going to say some things today about like how often they have sex, and that works for them, and that's great. And they have a lot of sex. Some people are like, I can't do that at the end of the day. I'm fucking tired when I come home. I have 3 kids. I have no help, So they talk about the stuff that works for them, and it's nice to hear they're so hot for each other, and it's fun to hear about.
Yeah, and when talking to them, they may approach their relationship a little different than Shan Boudram and her partner, where she's like, we're not fucking right now. And that's fine. Like, I think it's so important to know that everyone has a different story and what makes their relationship healthy and happy.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, different economic limitations and things like that.
Yeah, of course. There's so many different factors that play into what people are capable and able to do. Okay, well, let's talk about our other partners, and then we have some recs for you guys, and then we're going to get into it with our guest. Okay, I am telling you guys about Native. I am wearing their deodorant right now. Native makes safe, simple, effective products that people use every day with trusted ingredients and trusted performance. And we just love what they do. They are doing their part to help our earth by releasing their deodorant in new 100% plastic-free and recyclable packaging. So we love this. If you're like, I want to do something good for my body and for the earth, but you're like this, I want to have non-plastic packaging. They are doing it. They're a proud partner of the 1% for the planet. They're committing 1% of their plastic-free deodorant sales to environmental nonprofits. So we love this. The deodorant itself, aluminum, paraben-free, kills odor-causing bacteria, and 24-hour odor protection keeps you feeling and smelling fresh. So there are 10 scents to choose from, including their classic coconut and vanilla, sensitive formulas that are formulated without baking soda, and there's even unscented. So I'm just going to go to their website right now. The plastic plastic-free deodorant, holiday scents. Oh my God. Spiked eggnog, candy cane pits, peppermint pits. You know, I'm a pepper.
You're a pepper.
I'm a pepper. Warm cider and cinnamon, aloe and green tea. That's for your sensitive pits. Cotton and lily, also for sensitive. Cucumber and mint is the standard citrus and herbal musk. Lilac and white tea, of course, coconut, vanilla, eucalyptus, mint, all those of their standard scents. And we just love that they do these holiday scents and limited edition. Really, we're just obsessed with it. And we love the body wash, the sunscreen.
Only reason why I take showers.
All the things.
I love it every day. It's the best part of my day.
I know Raina hates to shower. This is the one thing that gets her in there.
I told my mom that, and my mom was like, "But you work out a lot," and I was like, "That doesn't matter."
No, it's
native
like
body wash.
you used to take angry showers. Like you probably in the shower, like I hate this, and now you're like I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Again, just it's effective. I'm wearing it right now. I feel great. I smell great. And if you guys are ready to try plastic-free deodorant, go to nativedeo.com/GGEDEO or use promo code GGEDEO at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/GGEDEO or use promo code GGEDEO at checkout for 20% off your first order. Also makes great gifts, great stocking stuffers.
Yep. Yes. Unbelievable.
I'll put deodorant in someone's stocking. I don't care. It's not an insult. It's like you need to upgrade your life.
Yeah, but those smells are so good and they're limited time. A lot of times they sell out quickly. So it's like a once in a lifetime thing, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of 'tis the season, we're cooking more. We're staying home. We're having people over. And you can be using HelloFresh for it. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Even has festive eats selections available, and we want to thank them for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. You can go to HelloFresh.com/GGE18 and use the code GGE18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. I have always loved HelloFresh long before they were a partner of the show. They send pre-portioned ingredients, great recipes. There's so much to choose from on their website. So if you have kids, if you're cooking for a group, you people coming over, if you're just cooking solo for yourself, I love it. It's so creative, really easy to follow no matter what your skill set is. They have everything from like 20-minute meals. They have vegetarian stuff that's good for kids. Over 35 recipes to choose from every week. So there's tons of stuff. Every time we do an ad read, I look at their menu and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. I can tell you what I made last night.
What'd you make last night?
Last night, I made a new recipe, cheesy Tex-Mex stuffed peppers. I did stuffed peppers last night.
Oh my gosh, you're such a culinarian.
Stuffed them up.
You should send me photos of this more.
Wait, you want to see a photo?
Yeah, I feel like you don't
Oh my
stay.
God. Anna can put up on the screen.
I feel like you don't stay taking photos of your food for me as much as I do for you.
Here is my dinner.
What?
I mean, it's kind of covered
the
up with like
pepper?
the guac. The peppers, I mean, you can see it peeking out, but I like put a lot of stuff on it.
I like
There's
those
our pickled onions.
Did you make pickled onions?
I pickled the onions and there's little guac and tomatoes. And then there was rice and beans, stuffed peppers, cheese.
They have so much variety. They have like Italian, they have Chinese burgers, tacos, they have meatballs. We love the meatballs. A couple other things, curried chickpea fritters, butternut squash agnolotti, creamy cilantro steak bowls. Oh my gosh, so much stuff for every meal of the day. If you guys are traveling, you can pause or skip weeks. It's really customizable and tons of variety. And it's cheaper than grocery shopping. So if you're trying to save a little bit of money for the holidays, this will help you do it. And it's just really fun. So check it out. You guys can go to HelloFresh.com/GGE18 and use the code GGE18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping.
Okay. Do you have recs or do we have like shared recs?
I have one rec. So I started watching this show. It's called Fleischman is in Trouble. It's on Hulu. There should be 4 episodes out by the time this episode comes out. It's phenomenal. It's about this couple in New York City. Jesse Eisner plays the husband and Claire Danes is the wife.
I'm a lifelong stan.
She is so incredible.
She's
it's about
unreal.
this 2 couple. I mean, basically, the first part of the show is that this couple is going through a divorce and she disappears. And you see the whole relationship from his point of view and the disillusion of their marriage and why they fell in love. And you're barreling towards all these things you think are going to make you happy, like marriage, children, success, money, and how all these things sort of like ultimately tear you down in the end and can let you down and all these expectations you have of your life. And so the most of the show and book are from his point of view. And then it flips the last like 70 pages of the book, because it's also a book that I read. Is from her point of view. So you sort of see like how she got to where she is. And it's a really negative portrayal of her. And then you sort of see it from her point of view. And she's still, I'm not giving anything away, she still has a lot of sick issues, but you sort of see how she got to where she is, and it makes her more sympathetic. And so I watched 2 episodes. I read that it was a book. I immediately got up, went to the bookstore, bought the book, crushed the book in 2 days. Yeah, it's fiction about a couple in the Upper East Side.
Reading fiction. You know it's good.
I know. He's a doctor and she runs like a talent agency. It is so phenomenal about the things that we really think are going to make us happy and relationships that we think are going to make us happy forever, and how we can sort of destroy them and destroy each other and our own view of how we've contributed to those things. And it's not like a happy read or a happy watch, but it's really, it makes you be very introspective about your own life and your own wants. And Claire Danes is so good in this. It's incredible.
She's like a top 5 actress to me. I mean, Homeland, oh my God. Back from My So-Called Life, all I'd wanted to do was be her. I would just like pretend to be angsty because I wanted to be her. I still dress like her.
I've loved her since Romeo and Juliet.
Huh? Romeo and Juliet. That movie was fucked up.
She was so good in it. The book is phenomenal, and I will say this is one of the book and the show almost follow each other verbatim.
Ooh.
And it is the exact same storyline. I was not let down whatsoever at all. Actually watching actors play out the book has been really incredible, and like you really feel it deeply. So phenomenal book and a great show, and make you feel a lot of feelings.
Well, you recommended it to me and my mom. You texted us, and my parents' downstairs TV recently doesn't have Hulu anymore. Hulu like has something where they might have disappeared from your TV. And so then we couldn't watch it. Now she's watching it upstairs in her like woman cave, whatever. Because my parents have their separate TV rooms. Like, please. I mean, that's the secret to a good marriage.
Yeah, that's how you sustain
it. And she started it and is loving it.
I'm glad that she liked it. I group texted
Thank you for the rec. So just a couple things to breeze through. We are obsessed with White Lotus. This season is fucking wild. I like it more than the first one. Maybe we'll do a recap for YouTube like eventually. But anyway, we love White Lotus. Goes without saying. This will be dated by this time this comes out. But this 2 weeks ago now, like the end scene
haunts us every day.
I was like, what the fuck? Okay. And then Sex Lives of College Girls, Raina said it, but I just have to reiterate, like, I just love it so fucking much. I think that.
Well, I haven't started the second season and you have.
Yeah. Okay. So it's back. Bella is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen on TV. I laugh out loud at that show. You know, so many shows go through a second season slump. The second season is better than the first. They are crushing it. I'm obsessed with it. There's a stripper scene that really speaks to our brand. I watched From Scratch.
You didn't like it?
I
thought you loved it.
I don't know. I had a hangover from crying. I'm not kidding. I felt like I went out. Like I watched it. My mom had already watched it and she rewatched it with me for 7 hours. We watched all of it. I woke up the next morning, headache, eyes bloodshot. Like,
what is it about? Everybody says
it's a true story. Also, I didn't even know this.
Okay.
So this woman wrote this book based on her true life experience, and I didn't know anything. I thought it was like 3 or 4 episodes. It's the first episode, they're in Italy. It's when they meet. I thought the whole thing took place in Italy. The second episode, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What is the show about?
I mean, all right, well, spoiler alerts. Like, so this woman meets this man in Italy. I actually, if I'm going to say my note on the show, I think there should have been a little more between them falling in love. I wish there would have been 2 episodes in Italy of the 8 episodes. That's my one note. Love the show. I just think it moved a little too fast paced, and I would have liked to see a little bit more of them actually, like, they're dynamic. Anyway, and then he moves to LA with her. He's Sicilian, and he's a chef, and she is an artist, and it's Zoe Saldana. And this hot guy, you're gonna think he's very hot, and it's their life together, and it's tragic.
Everybody says they like cried until it hurt.
You just keep crying. One thing happens,
is it sad
you
crying?
recover.
Is it sad
Then
crying?
another thing happens. Then you're recovered, then you start crying again. By the end of it, I feel like I got beat up. Like, I don't recommend you binge it. Like, it is so intense.
I mean, that's how I felt about I'm glad that my mom died. Like, I finished it and I was like, everybody's got to read this, but like, I was like, you're not going to feel good at the end of this.
You'll be fine. Like you will be fine. You know, it's just like, it's not going to leave you, it rips your heart out, but you don't end it feeling like depressed. Like, it's got a happy enough ending. Like you're going to be fine, but you're going to be fucked up. Like, you're not meant like, crying is intense. Like, if you cry all night, like, I wake up feeling like I got drunk. Like, my head hurts, my face is puffy. Can't recommend it enough, I guess. And then I love a Christmas rom-com, and I like this one on Netflix called The Noel Diary. Justin Hartley's in it. A little tough because we're Team Chriselle, but I think that, dare I say, is probably one of the best holiday movies of the season. In terms of Netflix does it really good. They're not as corny as Hallmark. I'm past. I don't do Hallmark anymore. My bar's as raised.
We don't really watch holiday movies at your parents for Christmas. I have to be completely honest with you. I don't think I've seen a lot of the holiday movies. Like,
yeah, I don't know if that's your vibe.
Wait, what are the ones that everyone's seen?
Like Miracle on 34th Street.
I've never seen that.
I don't know. We just
A Christmas Story. Never seen it.
I don't like that one that much. We just watch Home Alone. But these are the different vibes. These are like the rom-coms.
Yeah, I'd rather that. These other old dusty movies. I'm sure it wasn't part of my childhood.
Movies.
Like it was part of the rest of your childhoods. I'm a Jew, so I don't know. I didn't watch this stuff growing up.
All right. Well, this is a good one. It's like, they're all going to be corny. It's a holiday rom-com, but I like the story. This one's different. I think they can all feel like the same. Like I saw some meme that was like, I fell asleep in the middle of one Hallmark movie and woke up in the middle of another one. It was the same fucking thing. I really liked it. And then the thing that I'm loving the most is, I said last week that I'm watching Laguna Beach on Netflix.
She can't stop talking about
and I started listening to Back to the Beach, which is the podcast, which is on Dear Media, which we have the founder on today. And it was a Dear Media episode, essentially. And it's Kristen Cavallari and Stephen Coletti recapping the show episode by episode.
When you sent me that photo of Jason from season 2 and said
I forgot Jason.
He was on this show. Jason was like the original
fuckboy, garbage,
the real one,
the
like,
realist.
Mr. Big was like the original fiction fuckboy, but Jason was like the biggest fuckboy of them all.
Yes, I mean he was also a high school kid. But let's just go back. There's only this first season of Back to the Beach, which is the podcast. I have never loved a content consumption experience as much as I've loved this.
Really?
Watching the show, then listening to them break down the show. Mm-hmm. I've never loved anything more. I listened to it all the way, drive to Delaware, all the way back, taking walks with Azul. I was like taking walks with Azul solo on the farm, wouldn't let anyone else go because I need to listen to this podcast. Obsessed. I have never heard people pull back the curtain like this so much. Like, we all know reality TV, like so much of it is staged, like it's not scripted, but it's directed is one thing that they say. And I'm just so excited for you to listen because if you guys like the show at all, you're going to be obsessed with rewatch. I think you need to rewatch it. You're not going to remember if you haven't watched it since like 2004 or like, the early 2000s. Like rewatch it, listen to them break down every episode. Like, I mean, I think MTV was ahead of their time when they created the show, but listening to them talk about what was real and what was staged and what was taken out of context, and they do say, like, we were manipulated. We felt taken advantage of. They got paid very little. And I have mixed feelings about it. They end up having one of the producers, the creator of the show, on later. And the show wouldn't be the show if they didn't do that. You know what I mean? But I also have these mixed feelings of, like, these were kids. And they were 17, maybe even some 16. And they were being completely manipulated by producers, which I think that they felt like they were in good hands. Like, the producer episode, again, mixed feelings on it. At the beginning, I'm like, I don't like this. I feel like it's like the same old producer reality star where the producers just like, they pretend they're your friends. They tell you how brilliant, how beautiful, how amazing you are. Meanwhile, they're behind the scenes just trying to create good content and it comes at the expense of your reputation. But then you hear, Kristen and Steven say like, we would do it all over again. And we had a great experience. And everyone knows that what they did was what it takes to create good TV. And we watch it and love it.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it because you ultimately say to yourself, like, these were kids,
That's my only
really
thing.
Sick.
These aren't like housewives and like
they didn't start like wine labels the next season and become really famous.
Yeah.
It's less beneficial for them in the time, and they're not old enough to be manipulated like this. And it was really hard for me to watch. You remember that show Pretty Wild?
Oh,
on
yeah.
E! And then there was that documentary about the bling ring, and the documentary on Netflix about that was talking about how these girls were like heavily manipulated by like their lawyers and the other people in their lives on the reality show. I mean, Alexis Nyers was told by her lawyer that she was going to be like acquitted, and they made it all up. Mm-hmm. And they filmed it, and it's like sick to watch this like child be told that she's gonna like be fine and everything's all right when like that was a complete lie. And it's just you really feel for these kids. And this is not what happened at Laguna Beach, of course. This was just love triangles and stuff. And ultimately, they all became really famous because of it. Lo Bosworth is incredibly famous. Lauren Conrad, they're also famous.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the Lauryn episode yet. I'm saving it for last.
I almost called out of work that day.
I mean, I can't wait to listen. I hate to even speak on this without listening to that one. But yes, like I'd wonder if you'd ask the people that didn't get that famous, like Jessica, for example, like who didn't get who didn't look great and then didn't get famous on top of it. I'd be curious if they would say they regretted it. But yes, people have made their lives out of this. They are eternally grateful. It wasn't that bad. They did protect them. They didn't show them having sex or, they did a good job. But like, I think I'm just so obsessed with like truth and nothing being taken out of context. That's why I would never do reality TV. Like when I'm listening to it and listening to how MTV put them in these positions, edited things together for months apart to make it look a certain way, to follow a certain storyline, I'm knowing that it's my nightmare. So I would never be able to do it on the producer side, and I would never be able to do it in front of the camera.
Did you watch this TikTok the other day? It was about Love is Blind. It's every reality show, but they use Love is Blind as the example. It's a couple that's talking, I forget which one, they have food on their plates, and the amount of food constantly changes when they switch back and forth. And so what the person is responding to is actually not the part of the conversation that they are replying to. And the volume of food on their plate is constantly changing when they swap back and forth. And it's just, that is the level of like manipulation. It's like a hot take, but it makes me mad because you develop all these feelings. Like I see what happens to these people and the amount of comments they get. And it's just like, none of this is real.
I know. And that is like, that's what's so crazy. Like, this isn't a hot take. When you see someone on a reality show, you don't see their mouth say the words and it sounds a little different. It means that they said it later, and they're called wild lines. And so much of Laguna Beach was wild lines because they didn't have testimonials. So they had to build a story in 21 minutes and 30 seconds max based on just footage, no testimonials. And so much of it had to kind of be done later in the sound booth or in the van outside, And so what they did was brilliant. I still have mixed feelings on it, but it created a show that I love and the kids feel good about it. So I can feel good about it. But I wanted to say this too, because Kristen Cavallari comes up in this episode. Lauryn draws a correlation between the two of them. And we ask her how like her relationship is successful and how she like landed her husband, not that like they have an equal partnership, but we just kind of ask. She gave a very like Kristen Cavallari response, like very like be nonchalant, be aloof, be kind of bitchy, act like you don't care, always keep them wondering. And that's not unnatural for her. She's not playing games or playing a part. That's how she is. And she draws a correlation between her and Kristen and how they grew up. And that's how Kristen is. And that was always her thing. And she got all the guys. And in the episode, I didn't know that was going to come up. And so I've thought about it. And I do feel like if I'm looking back, if I'm reflecting on my relationships, of course, I always want to be in a relationship where I'm vulnerable and someone knows I care about them and I'm not playing games at all. But when I think about my relationships that have actually been long-term, successful, fallen in love, mutually, whatever, always at the beginning, the guy was like, I didn't know if you liked me and I thought you were kind of a bitch. And
like me?
It's kind of true. Like, I don't want to be like that forever. I don't want my partner long-term to not know where he stands with me. But at the beginning, if I'm being honest with myself, the guys that have fallen for me all have the same story that they really weren't sure. And they just thought I was like this bad bitch and didn't give a fuck and didn't know how I felt about them at the beginning.
Yeah, of course. And we talk about this today. And every time it's a hard thing to manufacture, right?
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
I wasn't acting.
Right.
I can't do it. Like you have to be authentic to yourself.
Yes.
And I think about Eden, for example, and her husband. I'm sure that wasn't the case at all. I think they fell in love with each other immediately and they were both probably super vulnerable to each other. And I love you so much. And like, it doesn't work for everybody.
No.
But I wanted to talk about it because like we used to always say like, do nothing,
It is, but that's it. And Kristen Cavallari, she'll say she did that with everybody and all the guys were in love with her and she doesn't really manufacture it. She just like couldn't be bothered. And it was amazing. And every time I've like tried so hard, people can smell the desperation.
Yeah. And this isn't us ever telling you to be someone you're not, to put on an act, to play games, but it boils down to the most you can do is love your life, make it full, don't be desperate for a partner, have a life you're proud of, do other shit, date around so you're not too pressed on one person, do your affirmations, know you're a bad bitch, know your worth, whatever it is, it'll come across if you do all those stuff and then it is natural. And no, we're not all going to be like Kristen or Lauryn Bosstick, but I think it's an interesting take and I think every couple is different and what works, and this wouldn't work for some people and it hasn't worked for some people. And I just wanted to say though, like it did work for me if I'm being honest.
Yeah, every time I've been like, somebody's been really obsessed with me, it works out really well because I wasn't that into them in the beginning.
I know. I think about that too. And like when we were talking to her, I was like, how do I feel about this concept? And even on their podcast, we'll be on their podcast. But then when I really think about it, it's like, it tracks. I think about your last boyfriend. You weren't sure.
You made me.
I pressured you into
Yeah,
it.
look how that turned out. Thanks, Ashley. Yeah. But I also think about people that like, I'm trying so hard. I'm like this puppy dog and I'm like trying to hang out and I'm texting and I'm like asking to see them. And it feels like they're not that into me. And what that has caused is it's bred a little bit of like anxious attachment in me to like seek out to them. And I'm like gripping at something and it's like, they don't want to see you and you're trying so hard and it's making it less attractive.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I mean, so much of my 20s was thinking, what would Kristen Cavallari do?
Me too. I wrote like notes in my phone about it. Also, Ashley and I believe in being in the driver's seat in your life. We don't really subscribe to like, well, if they want to see you, they will. It's like you can make an effort to be in control in your life, but also like don't be so thirsty for it.
Do this, don't do this, don't do that. No, I think it's a nice tie-in to today. And with that being said, we're going to head on over to the interview.
Yeah. All right, guys, we are so excited to finally welcome this duo onto our show. She is the founder and creator behind The Skinny Confidential, a media empire brand product line. She reaches millions of people. She's also the author of Get the Fuck Out of the Sun. He is the founder and CEO of Dear Media, a mega podcast network. Every week, this married duo interviews a mix of entrepreneurs, doctors, celebrities, authors, experts, and more. Please welcome to the show, Lauryn and Michael Bosstick.
Hi, what an intro.
Wow.
Would like to hype people up.
Right.
Yeah, I will
Specialty
take
is the
it.
intros. Also, Michael is our old friend.
Yeah, very old friend.
Yes.
We've known him since the inception of the podcast.
beginning
He
of
was
the
our
podcast.
first fan.
I think that you should have Michael voice something on
the app?
So what character would
Have
Michael
you guys
do?
had a
Your
space cowboy
podcast
yet?
producer.
Maybe it's space
You're
cowboy.
fucking in
Yeah,
space?
people know his voice.
Well,
I think
you
there's
probably have a
something
better
there.
idea than me.
No, I feel like it's like you want to start a podcast, you meet with this person.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Dear
let's
Media.
just do
I'm
what you
Michael
already do.
Bosstick. Yeah.
Oh,
Be like,
yeah, that's a real good image.
Throw
It's
your
like,
Media
Instagram
collab.
handle.
hey, come over, join Dear Media, and let me just accost you.
No, but you start talking about like the type of guarantee, like the money's going to be sexy, like the deal points are going to be sexy.
Part of the interview is she has to show you her tits.
I think it's
It's your
great.
wife.
It's a casting couch situation.
It'll spice it up. Like, go for it. You
right.
can be a voice, the Michael Bosstick voice.
And then it'd be funny if he walked in on you listening to the app and it wasn't his story. You were like, he was like, why are you
No.
listening to Clint?
Yeah, sorry. I'm on the cowboy or the horse.
And then start walking around in cowboy boots in the house.
Well, you guys, we're so excited to have you on the show. Will you tell our audience a little bit about yourselves?
I am Lauryn Bosstick, Michael's wife. I'm, as you introduced, an entrepreneur. I have 2 children. I started The Skinny Confidential like 13 years ago.
It's so awesome. Like an
it's been
OG blogger.
OG
vibe.
blogger, and now it's podcast, brand, product line.
Yeah, she started the blog back when people, like before the term influencer even existed, back when people used to say like, how are you going to make money doing this?
Yeah.
And then I think like from that, my background was in commerce, but we had this idea to do a podcast. And again, it was at a time when you had to like create videos online to show people where the podcast app was. And we just did it as a thing to kind of do together online. It was definitely like just like a side hustle type thing. And yeah, it's changed and bloomed into a lot of things since then.
Yeah. It's so cool. I like talking to like original people in the space. It's very cool.
Because it's so different now. The landscape is completely changed,
Yeah.
which is wild to see how it's evolved. Just the podcast space and Instagram and even TikTok
Yeah. I went from blogger to influencer to podcaster
to now entrepreneur.
to sex toy peddler.
I mean,
But so you guys met when you were 12.
12.
And you said it hasn't been the fairy tale you would think, like the rom-com, but we would need to hear this story.
We met when we were 12, literally on the playground. Michael thought I was the substitute teacher.
That's not true.
No, I
Oh,
swear,
no, he did. I
she
had
came in-
huge boobs and I was this tall.
No, listen, I was dating this other girl and she was a 6th grader and I was a 6th grader. And Lauryn came in as a fully developed woman. And
Were you also a 6th grader? Or
she was
Yeah.
a 6th
Okay.
grader, but like somehow she developed very quickly.
I mean,
I
Raina
felt
probably can
that. I had
relate.
double D boobs when I was like 12. You too?
Not double D. God, I would have been jealous though. Double D boobs.
I had huge
Yeah, but-
boobs as a
I
kid.
bet all the boys liked you.
Everybody liked me. Everybody thought I was a substitute teacher.
Okay,
I mean-
so Lauryn, you were like,
And
she's
I
not
was
a
like,
kid.
I was like, listen, I gotta go. I found a new pursuit because
I'll
I found a
never
woman.
forget. I was like the star of the 6th grade play and was singing Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh my God.
And I was wearing like this blue sequin dress that was so short and inappropriate for a 6th grader and like really lifted my boobs. And you remember what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
jerked off to it for sure.
You did, huh?
Yeah.
Because we talked about your high school in your episode that you guys were like, you were like one of those sexual, middle school, 6th grade.
6th grade. Our school was very sex positive, as you said. It was very like
It wasn't the school. That sounds like the school was so creepy.
But there's
Just-
schools like that. There's shows about it, like sex education.
Yes, our school was like very like Euphoria. Yeah, what's the show called?
Euphoria?
Yeah, that's that. I watched that show and I'm like, this is my
me.
high school.
When you were 12, you remembered, you have a memory unlocked of jerking off to this blue sequin dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think,
This is my favorite story that my
Yeah.
husband could jerk off to me in the 6th grade play. Like,
I think about it every day still.
I
still
hope
has the
that-
dress?
She's 12 still when you
I
think
will
about
put
it?
that a dress on like that.
No,
I will do that.
no.
Our school was very Euphoria. Like it was. I literally watched that show and I was like, I don't get the big deal. And it was even like more forward too when I watched Laguna Beach. Remember that show was like popular when I was in high school, and I was like, this is kind of vanilla.
I think
that's crazy. I love that.
I think it was like before, like, you know, like I remember like you would find porn in the bushes somewhere. Like there'd be like a magazine that somebody
People would
left
just toss
behind.
a
Your
Playboy in the
dad's,
bushes.
like,
Yeah, or like a VHS
bathroom
somewhere.
pile. Yeah.
feel like
Why?
there's more
Because they
to
were
that
like,
story.
this is so boring.
No, but I'm
Just
saying
throws
like it
in the
was not
garbage.
like it wasn't abundant, and we had, you know, like 56K dial-up internet.
So
like
he
that.
had to jack off. There
No,
wasn't.
You had to use your imagination back
No,
then.
he used to page me on my
But we're
pager.
better for it.
Yeah.
Like 143 in the morning.
Yeah. So
Pagers.
you guys were together till 15?
No, we bailed out at like she ended up cheating on me for some dorky older guy at 14.
In the
It's like
drama
that's-
club?
what
You
is
wanted an
cheating?
actor?
What is cheating when you're 12?
Cheating? I don't know if it was cheating. It was like
Borderline. I haven't forgiven her yet.
it wasn't 12. It was 15 or 14.
Oh, like real cheating.
yeah,
Okay.
but like I said, our school was pretty forward. And we kind of split up, but we were in the same high school, and there was always like this chemistry, like an electric chemistry, but I was always like leaving him hanging. And that's why I gave the advice that we gave on our podcast. It was like I always would just like leave.
You've just played hard to get forever.
Literally I swear to God, for 10 years. Like it was like always just leaving my scent behind.
Did you have a parent that told you like never show a boy that you like them, or
Yes.
did you invent that? You did.
Yes.
Okay.
You did.
yes.
You learned it young. It's kind of
Oh,
Kristen
yes.
Cavallari. You brought up Laguna Beach, but that was like her energy too.
It's funny because she has a similar story with how she was raised.
Your
Her
mom?
parents got
Oh, Kristen
divorced,
Cavallari.
and then she went and lived with her dad.
Uh-huh.
And that was kind of I saw my dad like just date all these different kinds of women, and I was so young, and it was like having a front row seat to seeing what worked and what didn't. And so I would be 12, 13, he would date all these different kinds of women. Some would be desperate, some would be aloof, some would be, and the one that ended up quote unquote like getting him was the one that was always disinterested. Like he dated a lot of women. My dad was like kind of a playboy. So I was really able to see this like experiment in front of me. And he showed me like always dangle the carrot, always dangle it. And I told him this the other night. We were having drinks. We're in Cabo, and I was like, yeah, you really taught me how to like manhandle men. And he was like, I'm like apologizing. And I was like, no. This has given me such like inside information that I wouldn't have had I had seen this like perfect loving marriage. And I'm a big believer that like everything that sort of happens to you, there's reason behind it and there's purpose, and you can use and make it work and manipulate it to how you want it to do good in your life. So that was kind of the front row seat I saw when I was young.
and it worked out. And it's not everybody's story or how everybody ends up in a healthy, loving relationship, but it is certainly a strategy
Well, like, but honestly,
that works.
It's kind of like Art of War.
I give myself most of the credit because
Oh.
no, I'm gonna be dead honest.
Lauren's like, this is new
because
to me.
I think like, so we talked about this on our show. Like the games are fine to a point, but you don't want to play so many games where you lose either man, woman, whatever.
You miss
the person.
you
don't want
go
to miss
ahead of your mark.
Or you can never stop, and it's the foundation of the entire
and, like,
relationship.
We joke and we play around, and like there is this thing that is really like I like the pursuit and we do that, but like obviously we've been together a long time. We love each other. We have two children.
Yeah.
But I dated a lot of women between Lauryn.
Between 15 and
yeah, well, in college I was just like running around.
He was a maniac. in college.
And I think it was good for me, but there was always this thing with her where I was like, okay, like that's the one that I'm going to get back to, if it made sense, or if that makes sense. And so like when we finally got back after I was in college and she like, we've been like we've been serious since then. Right. It was like, and I was very aggressive about that pursuit and like saying like, hey, no more fucking around. Like I'm not fucking around. You're not fucking around. Like this is happening now.
Okay.
And then been together since.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. But is that part of it? Like just a little bit of that always been hard to get?
No, I think, yes.
Lauryn would tell you it is.
Be honest.
No, yeah, there probably is that too. But I think genuinely like, and I say this again, like just being careful, but I think when a man, or in my case, when you know, but for me, I was like, okay, with her, I knew and I was done with the others. And so, when I got serious, I got serious. And so I think I grew up in a household where like I saw monogamous parents and that was my example. And so with her, is the opposite. And when we got together, I was like, hey, listen, this is what it's going to look like to be in a healthy marriage. And like, this is what I'm going to commit to and hopefully what you're going to commit to. And like, these are the things that we're going to do and not do. And so, fortunately it's worked.
I mean, a little manipulation,
But yeah, I'm sure some of it goes back to like childhood.
I don't think you have to show all your cards.
You know what? I think that there's tons of different schools of thought, and we talked about this in our episode as well, but I've seen this a lot work well. Like I have a college friend that I was like, I remember thinking it when she landed her now husband. They've been together since we were in college, where I'm like, he just doesn't really know where she stands. And I could like feel it, and they have three kids, I think. Like they're secure. They're in a happy, healthy, loving marriage with kids. But I see that. And we have another friend, and I don't want to put him on blast. He just feels like he is the lucky one, I think, a little bit. Like in terms of he just feels like he snagged this woman and she just is a little aloof sometimes. And again, they're married with a child. And I think that was her game too. And I think that's kind of just naturally how she is as well.
I think you have to think you're fucking great. If you don't think you're fucking great, someone else isn't going to think you're fucking great. I think you also have to have, I've been married for a long time, the mentality of like, if you want something, go see what's down the street. Goodbye. Like I also don't want someone too that like, I don't want to be someone's sloppy seconds. Like I think if you don't think you're great, other people aren't going to think you're great. I think you have to be just confident with who you are and like who you are. And I really think that, you shouldn't know where you stand.
Here's the thing. I think Lauryn and I separately without being together are probably like you would classify like two alphas. We're like outspoken, we do our own thing. Yeah. We have our own businesses, like all that. But I think it's okay in the relationship to not be the alpha in some cases. So for me, like,
I love this conversation.
I like to feel lucky. Like I do feel lucky that I'm with my wife, and I do feel like I'm pursuing her, and I do feel like I got the better end of the bargain than she did. Does that make sense?
No, that's I wasn't going to say it, but that's the secret that everyone would tell you if you're talking about a heterosexual man-female relationship, that the man should like love the woman a little more.
But I think 100%. That's okay. And I think sometimes when you get like certain people feel like they got to like maybe win or like be the alpha in the relationship. And I'm like, I'm fine in some scenarios being like, I love my wife. I'm lucky to be with my wife. Like I got the better end of the bargain.
We hear this a lot, and I think it's real. And it's like, as a woman that I feel like I, do identify with being an alpha, like you hear that it can't work, and you guys, it works.
Imagine if I was like, God, you're lucky to be like, it would, I don't know if it would work. Yeah. I don't know if it would work as well.
We see that too. And we're like, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. I think you both are alpha. And I think that it's just about finding someone who you're not settling for and finding someone who is comfortable with you being confident. If you go to dinner with someone and you're at a dinner table with a bunch of people and they're uncomfortable when you have a thought or have something to say, they got to go. Mm-hmm. Like the person should be like proud that the other person has something to say.
Yes. How sexy is it when you see a man who's like killing it in the world and he's so alpha and he's like, my wife is on the biggest pedestal I can put her on. Like how sexy is that to find somebody like that? And it's so impressive.
Yeah. And I mean, Raina observe couples and talk about this shit for a living. So we have a lot of information. I do think you see those couples where you can just tell that the man feels like she's so lucky to be with him. And you can tell, you can almost feel like she feels that too. And like, she's the one that's kind of chasing and, worried he's going to leave. And we watch it go up in flames. Typically, most times.
Yeah, I feel like as a man, I can get my wins in other areas. Like I can, I could win in business, or I could go win. I don't need to win with my wife, right? I don't need her to like make her feel second to me, right? I can do that, and I can like find those areas. I think
love that.
sometimes when like men need to be like the alpha, they take it too far, and they kind of backfires where maybe they make. I'm just going to use men and women in the like heterosexual relationship in this example. Like maybe they make the woman feel less wanted, and like that energy extrapolates into the rest of the relationship. And then you make someone feel less confident. And if they feel less confident, it's like you're probably having worse sex, and you're probably having, worse dinner conversations, and it's just, there's so many ways. So I'm like, why would I want to put that into the relationship? I can go get that in other areas.
Absolutely. I love when somebody who I am so impressed by chooses me, and I'm excited by that. And it turns me on. And I find that I stop wanting to have sex with somebody when I'm not that impressed by them. So like being with somebody that I feel like has chosen me, that is so alpha, that I'm so impressed by, makes me want to fuck their brains out.
Yeah.
And we do want to talk about your guys' sex life.
100%.
Well, did you guys have sex when you were kids?
I gave a blowjob, and my dad found us in the closet. Yeah,
Not mid blowjob.
No, he found us in the
Almost.
closet half naked when in 6th grade, and he told the story at my wedding.
You blew Michael in 6th grade.
I blew Michael in 7th grade.
Love that.
You know what though? Here we are,
I said
married with 2 kids.
Your dad was mad at the time.
Judgment at all.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that you met it. I think you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Can I ask why you guys are in a closet?
Her dad was in a big rage at the time, but I say it to him all the time.
You were like,
now.
but I'm going to get my dick sucked?
I'm
Oh,
like-
you mean after he found you?
No, when
He's like, we got
found
no
me,
closet. They
He
were in a
threw me in
rage.
his car. I was in my boxers. He dragged me down the street. I was freaking out. This is back when there were payphones. He threw me out of the car in my underwear. And then I had to,
this is why I think I'm comfortable with, like you asked on our podcast.
I had to
sex.
call my dad from the payphone, because it's payphone days.
Dad, come get me. You're in boxers on the side of the
Her
road.
dad was screaming at me. I waited for some fatherly advice at the other end, and all I heard was bellowing laughter. That's it. All I heard was my dad just laughing his face off. Her mom called, said they're going to boarding school. My mom yelled at me. My dad's like, you
We didn't
idiot,
go to
why didn't you
boarding
jump off
school.
the balcony? It was a whole thing.
Then, okay, take me back to like day 2 after that.
you
What
have
has
my
happened?
favorite origin
I know,
story
this is
I've ever
amazing. I need to hear everything about it. What happened the day after that? Like, how were you let back into the house?
Well,
You were let back in the house.
That's why you started.
Was your dad proud?
yeah, well, I think he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
He called, he's like,
Your son's got a
Into
blowjob. You're like,
into
go
her
off, king.
house.
yeah. like-
How did
let
he
back
get
into her house.
I know how he got back into his house.
Well, the first time I gave you a blowjob, you said to me, I'll never forget this. You go, are you scared of the one-eyed snake?
12.
I was 12, all right? I
was like, okay.
my dirty talk has improved since then.
Yeah.
Give me a shot on the app, I promise.
Yeah.
It's gotten better.
You should
let's
ask
go with
question.
that.
You should ask
Let's
that
start.
question on the app. I mean, that was
No, but I mean, like, listen, we were, like I said, we were sexually charged early on, and then, yeah, I mean, but I joke with her dad now. I was like, listen, I know you were mad, but like 2 grandkids later, like you gotta.
He's not mad at me.
you know.
Yeah. So, blowjob still today?
blowjob still today.
Fuck yeah.
Give us
Blowjobs-
tips. Our audience loves blowjob tips. We love blowjob tips. Let's talk about it.
You got to do the coin.
Oh, I don't know this.
I don't know.
Lisa Renna taught me this. It's the coin. You got to take your finger. This is like this is an elementary tip. You got to take your
Is it a
finger.
quarter?
And make it like an okay sign, like A-okay.
Okay.
And then while you're doing the coin, you got to twist your wrist like a flick. Not like a big twist, like a, are you okay?
You know, I'm getting riled up.
Oh, I thought he was going to demonstrate on the bottle.
I'm like, what's
Let me tell you how I blow, guys.
a flick of the wrist with the coin, and you're alternating between going tight and not going too tight. And then you cannot neglect the balls. I think the balls are
Can
like
we go back to the coin? You're on the penis.
like I can
You're
show
just
you.
using the hand.
You're
you know.
like you're keeping the
Are you
penis
just
in the
doing
same
two? Are
direction.
you using just your index finger
Like
and your
this.
thumb though, or your whole hand?
You're coined like the penis. We hope is like
yeah,
this,
but
and
the
so-
rest of your fingers you're not using.
Nope,
Middle,
just
ring,
the coin.
and pinky.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, just the
You
coin.
think you'd want more coverage, no?
You don't need that much coverage.
Oh, thank you. You've never told me that. Really?
Well, you don't want it to be too grippy, you know.
It's too. If it's too, you want to
heard
feel your
different
mouth.
things. I mean, cover it fully.
I think you can.
don't let it catch
I
a
think
breeze.
It's a bag of Chex Mix. You want to mix it up. So
For
sometimes
sure.
you cover
None
it
of this
fully.
is wrong.
But I like to start with the coin.
Okay.
I like to definitely give attention to the balls, and I think Josh Flagg just turned me on to the
Josh went-
sensitivity of the taint.
Josh is like,
Yeah,
So
taint
a
play.
lot of
We
people
love
forget
taint
about
play.
the taint. And I think a great lube is great. I also think using a vibrator while you're giving a blowjob. Here's my thing with a blowjob. a lot of people don't like giving a blowjob. And my theory on this, because I've really thought about it, is that I think sometimes maybe they're not doing it as efficiently and quickly as possible to get it done so it doesn't seem so overwhelming. And what I mean by that is like, if you're not doing all these tricks, it's going to take 10 minutes as opposed to it taking 2 minutes.
No, Lauren, give me a little more credit than that. Go
Are
ahead.
you finishing so you say 10 minutes.
Also, I want to hear Michael wrangle the moves.
I would like to. He was like, which blowjob's going to show up today? It's like different characters.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. You have to mix it up.
But are you finishing the blowjob? Because so we always say like one of our best pieces of advice is you don't have to finish a blow. You can just start a blowjob
as foreplay.
Yeah,
I have no problem.
Do both, but
I will blow my husband any day of the week, 5 times a day if he asks me. Listen,
Damn, you guys.
I
want to date you
because
too.
it was your origin story, so it's close to your heart.
No, I think that this is my husband.
Yeah.
If I'm not like, he does so many things for me in my life, and if he wants a blowjob, he's my husband. I'll give him a blowjob whenever he wants. Name one time in your entire life that I've said no to a blowjob.
I am so impressed by you. This is what I want to claim someday.
But you're not like demanding blowjobs 5 times a day.
Right when you guys get out of this interview, I'm going to demand. No, I'm just kidding.
Which method?
No, but I think he's not demanding it all the time because he's not deprived
I don't feel deprived, and I feel like in a relationship, people, you guys talk about this all the time. People want to explore their sexuality, and people want to have a partner they feel confident exploring that sexuality with, right? As soon as you're in a relationship and somebody shuts something down right away and says, I don't do that, or I don't partake in that, it's like, you may be shutting down something that somebody is very interested in or wants to carry into the relationship. So I just feel like sex is probably it is one of the most intimate things that come into a relationship, and to like shut doors and not be open to exploring things with your partner. I mean, you guys talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
It could be harmful to the relationship. And I think men and women, maybe they're not as open, or they get a little bit insecure, or they're uncomfortable to talk about these. But at least for Lauryn and I, like if we want to do something in the bedroom, we talk about it and then we try it, and like, if we like it, we like it. If we don't, then we don't.
Yeah.
But nothing's off limits though.
Do you guys have, I feel like this is such like an elementary question, but everybody wanted to know, and you guys do seem to have a really spicy sex life. So if somebody says to you like, how do you guys keep it spicy still? Do you have like an answer for that?
That was our number one question. Like it's such that people wanted to know. When we asked. Yeah.
And we just would love your answer to that. Like every couple's different, but like how do you, it's very rare to hear I would still blow my husband five times a week, and I have 2 kids, and we both have these huge businesses.
My stepmom, and I say this on our podcast, so if someone's listening and they've heard it, sorry. I said there was one time that I was bartending until like 1 a.m. I was like 22 years old, and I came home. I was so tired, and Michael wanted to have sex, and I called my stepmom the next day, and I was just like, I'm so tired. I've been working, I'm bartending, I'm working on the blog all day. I'm just exhausted. And she's like, and I thought she was going to be like, oh yeah, like I understand. He's going to have to like understand. And she literally told me, she's like, Lauryn, you rally. And again, this is who my father married. Remember, I saw him date all different kinds of women.
Julie.
I saw him date all different kinds of women. I saw him date like a different kind of energies. I saw him date desperate. I saw him date the aloof poodle. And Julie, shout out to Julie, is like such.
I love you.
She's aloof.
You should coach football teams.
No,
you rally.
And ever since then, like, if my husband wants to have sex, it's not like like I said, we're so alpha in so many areas and dominant. If he wants to have sex, I'm gonna have sex.
But I'm not a total dickhead.
But also, what about you? When you want to have sex, you have sex.
Yeah.
Too.
Like, I'm not a total dickhead. Like, I don't see her come home late and be like, get on your knees. Here we go. Like, I don't, and I think like the fact that I know that it's available, I don't take advantage of it, right? Where like men feel like if it's, I'm just using men because I'm a man. If like men feel like it's not available or it's being held back, it like becomes this weird tension in the relationship. And so to me, like I don't take advantage of the policy, so to say, right?
Well, I think you can read the room with this woman that you've known for so long. Like I think this goes both ways. Like as a woman, if you got home and you wanted to have sex and your partner was like, I'm just really tired, like it hurts, And I also think that both parties in a relationship where you know each other very well and you respect each other and respect each other's boundaries and can, again, read each other, you're not going to push that on someone if they're so tired, they've had a tough day, but we feel the same way. And that's how you slowly start to spiral into that we're not having sex anymore.
Yep.
Because there were so many instances of just really tired. And again, this is not to push yourself outside of something you don't, it's not to do something you don't want to do. But I mean, I remember that with an ex of like, I remember being really juiced up to want to fuck this one particular night. And he was like in that tired, he bartended too mode. And I just remember feeling so rejected. And it was so early on that I was like, oh my God, it's the beginning of the end. And of course we talked it out but it was just like I wish he would have rallied.
Women want to be desired.
When Lauryn and I are having issues in our relationship, and like, listen, we've been together a long time, and we're not going to go here. We're like, oh, we have 2 kids, and this, like, we have issues. Like, we work, but I think we're both committed to work through them. But when it comes to sex in the bedroom, like, I notice that whenever we're struggling in the relationship, it's when we're having less sex.
Like when I'm 10 months pregnant,
or when we're,
it's like not
or like,
the hottest thing you want to do.
Yeah. And if we can get back to that and be like, okay, like how does the relationship start? Usually it starts hot and heavy, people having really great sex. And then over time, it kind of gets lower and lower and less and less and less. And people get away from it and then become like these weird roommates or like co-parents. Or for us, it's like, okay, how do you put the relationship and the sex first? Because if you do that, I feel the rest of the stuff will take care of itself.
We've talked to a lot of experts that would echo that what's happening in the bedroom can be mirroring what's happening outside the relationship too. And then you also hear couples say that, like, I don't know, it's just not that important to us. I mean, it's not, everybody's different.
I don't.
By the way, that's fine though. If people don't think it's that important, that's fine too. I think you gotta, if you're gonna get married to someone, I think it's probably important to set the expectation and be on the same page in that area. And it's so interesting. You like look at finances before you get married and you do all these prenups and all this. You talk about how many kids you want to have, but you're like not on the same page about how often you want to have sex. And that mismatch is a big fucking mismatch.
I mean, it's a huge issue. We have every time we do an episode with a sex expert, people, they're like, I want to have sex and he doesn't, or I want to have sex and she doesn't. Like the libidos get mismatched. And over time, things change too. Kids and everything comes in the mix. But yeah, when I say couples that it's not that important to them, I mean that it's mutual. The problem is when one person is not being fulfilled.
And to your point, there's mismatches, like times when, she's more turned on and I'm less, or I'm more turned on and she's less. And I think that becomes a difficulty in the relationship if somebody feels like they're not desired. And so to the point, I think, like, how do we keep it hot and heavy? It's like, one, same as you guys, we talk to so many people, we know that it is important for a relationship to survive. And anytime we start to get away from, like, okay, let's get it back. And listen, like, we have great sex because we know each other so well and we've been together a long time. And whenever we get back to it, we're like, oh, damn, that was really good sex. Right. And so then, like, when you're reminded of that, you're like, okay, like, back to it. You got to make an effort, just like anything else. Like Lauryn said, you manage your books, you manage your kids, you manage like your business, all these things. Nobody takes time to actually manage their sex life and like get better in their sex life.
It's a great point. I think people want to, but I think life gets in the way. But if you started off with a similar libido and you both wanted to have sex all the time and one of you is not experiencing that anymore, you should check in with yourself and check in with your partner about what has changed here. Because for me, in every relationship, when the sex starts to go, it's because I have probably stopped respecting you or enjoying you, and the sex goes away because I don't want to fuck you. I don't feel like being like on top of you. I don't want to blow you. I don't think you deserve it. It's just my mind doesn't go there. So when my libido towards another person has suddenly changed and it's so obvious, it's immediately because something is wrong in the relationship.
If you and I were sitting on the couch drinking wine, I would tell you the second that you say, I don't want to blow you because you don't deserve it, it's time to move on to find someone else. Because I don't think in our whole entire relationship I've ever thought, I don't want to blow you, you don't deserve it. That there's something more there. There's something more to what you just said than I don't want to blow you, you don't deserve it. It's a bigger picture. He's treating you rude at dinner. He's diminishing you. He's watering you down.
So I haven't experienced that in a negative way. I've experienced that I'm just sort of not impressed by the way you're living your life. And it doesn't turn me on.
But it's not too far from what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying. There's something else.
But I want to qualify and say I haven't been in situations where people interrogate me and I'm like, I'm going to withhold sex from you. I've just been in situations where I don't feel like doing this because I'm not impressed by you and the way that you're living your life. And yes, it is similar to what you're saying, but I think
there's something else.
You have to stop. And I remember the last relationship I was in, we took this vacation right before we broke up. We didn't have sex the whole time. We were staying at this great resort, this great hotel, and we didn't have sex the entire time. And I was like, this is over for me.
Yeah.
Well, Lauryn, what you're saying, I think, is like, people might be listening and they're like, oh my God, I said that. I said that last time I was with my girls drinking wine. Like, he doesn't deserve this right now. And like, that doesn't mean it's the end all be all the relationship, but it does mean to examine why you feel that way about your partner.
There's something more going on.
Do women, and this is for all the way, do women feel that like a blowjob is some kind of reward system? Because I look at a blowjob or going down on someone or whatever, it's just foreplay. And I feel like as soon as you put like, this is something I do only as a action once you do something is like, that is probably something that needs to be examined, because you're just like, if the idea is to have great sex in the bedroom, why are you taking something out of that and looking at it as like a it makes
So
you
everybody feels different about that. And some people are like, I just don't like blowjobs, and I do it as a reward. That is not how I feel, actually. I've just used that as an example of one sex act. I think that some people don't like doing it. It is a little nice gift for you, but if I don't feel like
I wouldn't want that with going down on me.
like, what if I was like, I'm not going down on you because you don't deserve it today?
Bye.
Right?
Yeah, or what if a guy was like, I only eat her pussy on her birthday? Like, we would hate that.
Yeah.
I would feel perfectly fine saying to my partner, I don't feel like fucking you because I don't like how you are. I don't like the person that you are right now.
If I said
and
to
I would
Lauryn-
feel perfectly empowered to say that. And then you take a pause and you decide to yourself, either with the partner or solo, like, does this relationship have legs? Do I want to work on the feelings that I'm feeling that make me not want to be intimate with you?
Yeah, I just think sex should not be a bargaining chip in the relationship. It should just be something that both people desire together. And if not, it's kind of like, go be friends.
Yeah, I mean, I used to say early on in the podcast, blowjobs are for boyfriends, just because it's like, it's a dick in my mouth. Like, I just kind of want to like the person, but I've kind of had to walk it back. I've sucked
love
some dick this
blowjobs.
year that just a one night stand.
Yeah, it's
I was
fun.
happy to do it.
Yeah.
But, because I was really into the person, but you know, I just don't like stick a random dick in my mouth, and I don't necessarily expect, you know, a guy to just like put my clit in his mouth either. But you're right with this whole, like, let's think about what we're saying here when we say like, I only do that on special occasions. It's like, I wouldn't want someone to say that about going down on me, or I don't do this thing that she likes except for a few special occasions.
Well, let's also find a way to make it more enjoyable for you. So like if somebody said to me like, I don't eat pussy, I'd be like, but what about this do you not enjoy? And like, this is something I like and this is important to me. So like, let's figure out how to make this pleasurable for both of us. Like Ashley said, you should use things like blowjobs for boyfriends, but you found people that you really enjoyed doing that with. And I think that like me hammering her about how much I love sucking dick every day has really changed her life.
Well, and
So you like it and you don't.
She does like it now.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I liked it until I really had a partner that made me feel like I was good at it. So that's a large part of it too. And we talked about this in our blowjob episode, is like, you don't think you're good at it. So it doesn't make you want to do it. You're like, you're in your head. Am I doing this right? So I think a lot of that is learning tips and tricks and all that, but having a partner that's like, that's so hot. I like it.
Sure. And it's worth being said, like if Lauryn was going down there and doing that to me and I could look down and she just absolutely fucking hated it, like I wouldn't be like, keep going. I'd be like, this is really weird. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's another thing. People have to match not only, you know, in the mind, but in the bedroom and in the, like, you have to, when you find somebody that you're going to end up with, it's like, make sure you're aligned.
You're going to be with them. Let me put this. Every single day you're committing for the rest of your life in the morning and the night. Like, I want everyone to like really think about that when they get married. For me, I would rather be alone than settle for someone who's fucking annoying.
Yeah, I have a really one of our best friends, and he's a huge blowjob guy. And like, he'll get with a girl, and if she's not, he'll end it right away. And I don't think that's the wrong attitude. I think like, if that's something that's important in his life and he's with someone that's like, that's never happened, he's like, well, then let's not force it on somebody.
Yeah, I don't think we should force it. I mean, if somebody was like, I gotta have butt sex every day, I'd be like, I'm not your girl. I don't know what to say to you. And as much as I'm like open-minded and kumbaya about like, let's find out why you don't like this and how to make it more pleasurable. I don't like it. There's no way you're gonna ever make me like it. I don't care if you have a tiny dick and we use all the lube available in the world. I'm never gonna like it. If you want to do it sometimes, I will grin and bear it. But all the time, no. But if you want your dick sucked every day, I'm your girl.
No, if some guy's like, I don't eat pussy, I'd be like,
she's
what?
your girl, you guys.
I'm like, no, what, DJ Khaled? I'm not gonna be with you.
Totally. It's a weird line to take too. I just won't do that. But me saying this, I'm like, I won't do butt stuff. But I won't eat pussy. It's a weird line to take.
I mean, if you want, I think too, to like refine your blowjob skills, I think the first trick is to change your mindset. And like with me, my mindset isn't like, oh, I have to do this. It's like, I want to please the person that I love and make him feel good. I think that's the first unlock. You got to change the mindset. And the second tip is, if you really don't like it, then be efficient about getting it done quick. Like,
Love
don't
that
give
energy.
like a boring like church blowjob.
You know
like,
what I just thought about,
Get
Lauryn?
creative.
If
with
I
it.
was sucking a dick in church,
2
it would
minutes
be so
is different
hot.
than 10 minutes.
Let
I'm
me
sorry.
say this, girl, because I realize that I'm probably into your entire audience getting painted as a huge blowjob guy. Like they're probably sitting back and be like, this guy's just,
when you brought up the 12-year-old story, that's where we just went.
I think I actually like sex better, like actual like intercourse better.
Penetrative.
Put that in the show notes because I don't want to, listen, I like the blowjobs are good, but I don't want to be like, that's the blowjob guy, right? Like,
I love the correction.
I thought about it, I'm like, holy shit, this entire massive audience, like there's the Dear Media blowjob guy,
Yeah.
Anyways.
I just want, if you guys can have, if there's a minute answer to this, and then I do want to talk about like, maybe we'll see what we get to. We want to talk about your products and your book and everything. And I could talk to you forever about skincare and everything else, but also people can listen to your show. You guys, you don't work together all the time. Clearly you have different careers, but you do some things together. You live together, you parent together. And do you ever get tired of each other? Do you feel like you have separate lives going on? Like, what is the secret to just really live, work, and play together and still having this spicy sex life?
I think that's such a funny question because you guys, yesterday I was getting on a plane to come to New York at midnight or whatever time it was. And I was thinking to myself, I would be miserable doing this if I wasn't with Michael. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because I really like him. I think you really have to like each other.
That's the secret. That's what I'm saying. That's your answer.
That's really important to like each other because I would not want to come and I don't mean I'd be miserable to like do this podcast. I mean, I'd just be miserable to get on a plane at midnight and leaving my kids without like alone. I wouldn't like that. Uh-huh. And so that's number one. And number two is business working together is very, very, very challenging. There's a lot of different hurdles to overcome with it. And you really have to be on the same page and set expectations of who's doing what before you get involved.
And that was the main point of my question is that you guys not only are clearly you're married, you're parents, but you also do work together in some capacity. It's just a lot.
Well, people see, so what people don't realize is like Lauryn and I have always maintained separate businesses. So the Skinny Confidential is Lauryn's business. Right. She's the founder, she's the CEO, she runs that entire business. I happen to partake in the podcast, obviously, like we did that together as like a thing to create online together. And obviously like now Dear Media is invested in her business and we're partners in that way. But like when it comes to the Skinny Confidential brand, her book, like everything, that's hers. I don't get involved at all unless she's asking for consulting or advising, whatever I can help as a husband.
I call it requests for coaching.
And then like I'm at
requests for coaching. You're allowed to get involved.
And then I'm running Dear Media separately with a completely different team and a completely different structure on my own every day. So it's nice because we have these separate worlds and separate companies and separate, team members, but we get to come together and do this kind of thing, which makes us spend a lot of time together, but also having our own separate things. I think couples get in a lot of trouble when it's like, if I was to just go into her thing.
Yeah, like if he was my photographer.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about. Like the blogger, photographer.
But by the way, that might work for someone, but for me, that wouldn't work.
Or if she was like helping me run Dear Media, or if I was like running, I think that would be really challenging. Also parenting, being in a relationship. I don't think we could do it.
I approach Dear Media like I approach my relationship. I drop a hint and a seed and I walk away.
I like what you said about requests for coaching too, because I think that sometimes we feel like from our partner we're being really criticized and we didn't ask, or we're being given advice that we didn't really ask for, and you're like, I just was venting, I wasn't looking for you to like problem solve for me. And it seems like you guys have like some pretty healthy boundaries and you like each other. How many couples do we meet that I'm just like, you don't feel like you like each other?
That's the secret is like
literally the most simple thing ever. It's like do you want to hang out with friends you like? Do you want to hang out with friends that you don't like?
You guys seem like people that wouldn't. You both seem like people like us where it's like, I mean, I don't know. I get annoyed easily. I don't want to be friends with everybody. I don't give people my energy if I don't like them. So
good for you.
Okay. One burning question. I can't forget to ask this. Lauryn, you just got your lips done today.
Yeah.
Do they make for a better blowjob?
We'll see.
Let's ask Michael.
Yeah, but you gotta like wait for them to set in. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't like tonight, like the blowjob's gonna be like, I'm just telling you, it's gonna be like, why are you giving me that look?
I don't know what you're about to say.
It's gonna be like a 6.
Oh,
like it's.
Oh, you're gonna do it tonight though. Day of the lips.
Well, we don't have kids,
but aren't they gonna get bruised?
But Michael wants sex more. He's not a big blowjob guy.
Let me tell you guys something. We just went down to Cabo for 10 days for our anniversary. We thought it was gonna be the hottest, sexiest thing. We brought our kids.
No.
It was
the kids are the bug-eyed.
Like they're lemurs in the night. So
what are you doing?
2 or 3 nights away now, and we're like, all right, like it's time. Like, when we're out on the town and there's no kids, like we'll see what happens.
I just wondered. I haven't had my lips done. I probably should look into it, but I just didn't know
if you can go out and suck dick that day.
No, I would. I mean, you can suck dick with your lips done today. Like it's not going to be the best blowjob, but I would wait until they settle in to really give a great blowjob. And it's I think it's gonna be good because they're like DSL. They're like big lips.
They're like Raina's
Will you just text us later, just a number, and then we'll know what it's about.
Yeah.
6,
I'll
7.
text you a video.
Okay. Oh yeah, we would love to watch it. Okay, before we let you guys out here, I know you guys have to go. Can we just talk about your products and your book and where everybody can find you guys and all that stuff? I know our audience is going to want
you
more
brought
of
us the
you.
roller.
I brought you guys the roller. This is fucking amazing. If you run puffy, this city makes me the most puffy. So to wake up in the morning, put it in the freezer, but unless you don't want it too cold, put it in the fridge. And then I brought you guys a book too. Get the fuck out of the
I
sun.
love this book. So I was listening to some of your episodes and I've listened before about skincare and there's so much in here. I love the
God,
name.
I think I only brought you guys one book. I have to send you another
I'll
one.
take it. Raina doesn't do skincare.
I actually don't do skincare, but I want your book.
Okay, I'm going to send you. Will you text me your address?
Yes, I
and
will.
your friend's address.
And I want you to be back at Erewhon because I live right by there in LA.
Well, maybe you can go get it. The pink drink.
Okay.
And you guys can find us on the Skinny Confidential podcast. Michael's at Dear Media.
Yeah, I think like for me, like obviously we do the podcast together twice a week, but yeah, also check out Dear Media.
And
We
you
love
guys
Dear
just
Media.
recorded with us.
So many.
Yeah, so check us out on their show and check out everything that they do and all the shows at Dear Media, of course. We have so many friends there as well. Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you
This
guys
was
for
so much
having
fun.
us.
I could have talked to you guys for hours.
And you guys know where to find us. Girlsgottaeat.com, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on TikTok. Ash has Raina.Greenberg, Vibes Only, vibesonly.com, all the things. You guys know at this point. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.